Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to actually model and decorate your map now that we made it. Going to go into detail about the hotkeys and kind of just learn how to make a map. You know, the map I'm doing right now is something I'm making right now. It's Wake Island from Battlefield 2. I just wanted to make that classic map, and I think I'm getting it down, but I'm not too sure yet. So right now, there's a couple different hotkeys we gotta learn, and one is for unit creation. We'll get into that. This is going to be your bread and butter right here. This is everything in the game, all the models, all the different types of textures. This is where you add stuff in. Then number two is your layer controls. This is how you can kind of switch through the layers. Like the terrain, you can turn off the terrain, see where like trees are and stuff, and like your models, so it all looks good. Level build, you can just turn off all that just if you want to see the map in its entirety. Bare. It's good to have stickers long range on so you can see more from like a bird's eye view, I'm thinking. That's what I do, but it's a little funky because like you see some of these textures are glitching through, but in reality they're just fine. So if you're having problems, just zoom down and you'll probably be relieved. And all this will get sorted out when you bake the map afterwards. So anyways, moving on. The stickers is like the terrain pretty much. You can turn it off and on, so you don't have to see what the terrain looks like. And then the models is just getting rid of all your models. But it's all there, it's just invisible. In the water, you can get rid of water. The roads tab highlights all the roads. You can see, but it doesn't work for all the roads because some of them are labeled a road, but you have to go back and put a different type of filler on top of it so it acts like a road. Like dirt paths, those aren't labeled as roads for some reason. Districts is usually models that you can garrison troops in, and it's usually related to like the HP of certain buildings and stuff like that. It's not too crazy. Snap elements are usually some sort of roadway or some sort of Bezier that I'll teach you about later. It's usually something where you can snap two pieces of road together and it'll make something like this, like a roadway, a little cross section. Here's a bunch of them that I put down not too long ago. And that's all by just connecting different roadways. Oh, I need to fix that right there. I'll fix that later though. Maybe that'll be our example. Alright, for the next tab, I put down these FX from the modeling tab. And this one is static FX. You can turn this off and on to toggle the effects on the map. And they just go away like that. You can just turn it back on. There's not much else to really worry about on the layer control tab. It's a lot more just technical things, more downwards. I wouldn't really worry about it too much right now while you're just building out your map. Now your third hotkey is the number 3. This is your selection bar. It is just to search anything you've put down so far. So we can search something down, like let's say a road. And look, it's going to show us all the roads that were on the map that I've put down. And you can search for it. And they're all there. Look at that. That's pretty handy. Shows you how many numbers there are of each. And all that good stuff. And it's just everything that you've put down. A little finicky. I haven't used it before, but you know. So the fourth hotkey we're going to learn is number 4. It's for transformation form. It's for models or different types of terrains, you know, stuff like that. You can move them left or right, or with the case of models, you can move them up or down. Watch how I make this cool skyscraper I've been making on a couple of my maps. I guess the Z-axis is vertical for some reason. I always thought it was the y-axis, but that's just how it is in this game, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's it for the transformation. You can also rotate from here. You can rotate it in a bunch of different ways, you know. It's pretty cool. Or scale. You can also scale it to be as big or small as you want it. Oh my god, I don't even know where it went. That's a little broken. Maybe don't do that. Here, let me try again. Oh, that just gets everywhere. Yeah, maybe don't use that, but it's a big ass model. What's going on? Oh well. Yeah, I wouldn't scale, but there's other ways to scale. There's an actual little key you can use and you can actually scale it normally. From the key and you just right click on the arrows. Just like that. Pretty easy. Or you can rotate it from this little key over here. Or translation. Translation is moving it around. Alright, so the fifth hotkey is item properties. You don't usually use it for building your maps. It's usually for building scenarios, like describing what spawns are which or what airways to use. So don't use it too much for here, or don't worry about it. Your sixth hotkey you're going to use is for kind of ranging out your map and seeing what would be happening in a certain place. So right here maybe you'd see in this forest tile that the ATGM could reach all the way almost over to that other forest across the island. Or that a machine gun can actually attack that building that we have placed down earlier. Or if we scale out even farther, you can see if we put the range right here, that a howitzer can barely cover half the map. Or like all of the map if it's right in the center, you know? So it just kind of just shows you like how what the different ranges would be. Like if you're at this bridge, a tank gun could easily cover the entire bridge easily while staying in cover itself. Or in these little choke points over here. Look at that. Tank can also cover this road by itself. So it's all pretty clever stuff. But don't rely on it too much because we haven't baked it yet, so none of the line of sight is in the actual files yet. It's after we generate our map. This is just a brief overview of what it would look like. So one of the last things I want to talk about for hotkey wise is the knife. And you can use the knife to cut up the terrain or anything large and part of the filler. Like these forest tiles, the grass. Here's an example of how to use it. So you right click outside of the thing you want to cut and you simply just go all the way through it. You can go like this and make sure both ends are out of the area you want cut. And then you just hit enter. And look at that, you made its own little cutout of the forest. And you can manipulate it on its own while this is on its own as well. So you put this back together. We can Control Z this. So now it's all back together. You can also do it in half. You can just go straight through it. You know, look at that. It's two different forests. You can just cut up and just place wherever. You can Control Z that again. And look at that. It's all back together. Measurements. Just shows how long the map would be. Go as far as you want. Just to get more technical with things. Or like if your unit has a certain range you want to check out. See if it would be balanced in that area. This last one over here is Destruction Simulator. You can go up to a building and right click on it. Usually, right click on it. It should blow up. Yeah, look at that. That's a little finicky, but shows you what it looks like if blown up. But this doesn't save as a blown up building. It's going to revert back once you regenerate the map. That's just how it looks if something was like a war zone was happening here. So don't take it too crazy with that. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is look at all the different models in our creation tab. That's our one hotkey. So just go up to the type right here, and the first one we're going to go over is Bezier. This is usually for roads and walls and fences and railroads or anything that's like has long lines, you know. What I like to do is type in the filter name right here for road and just kind of, my favorite one right here is for the bitumen right here. These guys in the bitumen smalls are really clever. Make sure you have snap mode down here on object snap so you can get some pretty cool roads. So you can go like this. Make sure you have a lot of right clicks down, a lot of dots, which are snap points, in which you can snap other pieces of road onto it. It's only for certain textures, but once you have the snap mode on, you can just right click on that little entry point right there, and you can make your own roadways, little intersections. Here we can try it that going the other way. Oh, messed up a little bit right there. You can just Control Z and just come it back. And it's always randomized, the type of roadway. There's a lot of different roadways that'll pop up in cross sections, like with different cars or maybe a tree. Some models have other roads you can place down on them, like the bitumen smalls going to the bitumens as well. Just put it on the snap point, and there you go. It's a own little road going into another road, a bigger road. You just kind of play with it. I don't really know which goes into which right now, but you can get pretty creative with it, to be honest. It's pretty fun. And it's usually really necessary to learn if you want to build really good cities. Alright, now we're going to try it with fences this time. We're going to go into filter by name right here. Just type in fence, and look at that, we got some pretty cool fences. There's like a little road fence, maybe, for a roadblock, you know. A good one for like a grid fence, you know, is the, where is it? The fob one. The fob enclosure. It's not too finicky as the industrial ones, which has these little indentations that can be a little weird sometimes getting them to work. But you can connect multiple fences and different fences to the same line if you really want to. You can go crazy with it. The next tab we're going to talk about is the filler tab. This is all your different textures on the map, all the different forests, all the just different terrains, everything, all that, and the water too. There's a filler thing for the water, like small ponds. Nothing like this. This is something different. So let's place down a forest. Let's type in forest into here, the search bar. I like the multi-filler forest, okay? And make sure you have the create button on the top left, and just right click. You can right click a bunch, but make sure it all ends up in the same dot, like that. Now we got our forest tile down. We're gonna actually put something below it with the same filler tab. So let's just type in grass, and let's grab this filler grass right here. Okay, and just as you made the forest, just do the same with the grass. You gotta end it where you started. Look at that, it placed something below the forest. A nice new texture. I wish it blended in more with the actual environment though, instead of looking so weird. But some textures are meant to be smaller than others. The next tab we're going to talk about is the effects tab. This is all the different effects in the game right now. Some of them take just like a couple seconds to start up, but something like fire happens immediately. Or there's something like smoke from a factory. Yeah. These are harder to delete. I usually just do Control Z. This should be like one of your last steps, just so you make sure you know what you're placing down, because it does stay for a while. You can't really get rid of it at the moment. Next I'm going to talk about is the imposter and model tabs. These are the next two. These usually are together. I don't know what makes the difference between the imposter and the regular model tab. It's all just different decorations usually though. Imposters have a lot of like really smaller things to decorate with. And the models have more like larger things. And also garrison buildings as well. There's a couple of different buildings you can garrison troops in. This is your main tab to actually start decorating cities and towns with. There's a certain couple types of searches I have. HLM is a good one for large habitation centers and things like that. Whenever you see a Steelman thing, that is for the campaign maps. That's for Army General mode. So don't place any of those down because that will not look good on the map. Just use the regular versions of those buildings. Another good keyword to filter is habitation. That's usually like a neighborhood building or thing like that. There's all different types of decorations though, from rocks to pipelines to airport signs and things like that to like an armory. There's a lot of different things in this game. The next type is the navigation layer. And that is if you want something to act as a terrain type. So if you were to place down something like the terrain dense forest on this flat land here, it would act as if your troops were moving through a dense forest. And I think it actually looked that way on the actual navigation layer control, which is on the number 2 hotkey. And look at that, it's a dense forest. The next type of thing we're going to look at is patterns. These are different patterns of things you could probably make on your own, but would take too long. It's just a little easy to create different things with it. It's usually a little randomized too, so it's easier to just place down and forget, and it'll help you out with the decorating process. It's not the same as randomization though, which is different. The random tab is for any sort of building in the game you want randomized, so it doesn't all look the same, you know. It really helps putting that uniqueness to your cities, or farmlands, or an airport with the different containers. There's just a lot of cool stuff you can do. There are different types of nature parks. Look at that, that's pretty cool. It's all different kind of stuff you can put down. Really makes it unique. Smart line is almost the same as the Beziers, but use it more as a decoration to the Beziers to make things easier when decorating, like along roadways, which would take a little bit of time. So with our old roadway that we put down, let's just get rid of all the different zone layer controls, and let's place down something with it. How about some street lights? Let's just go right here. Just place it along the road, and it'll kind of snap to the ends of the surfaces, so it looks all nice. Yeah, you got some backwards street lights. So you could fix that and just put that on the other side. And it'll snap to that edge of that one, and it'll just smartly line up with the roadway that you put down. Just makes it easier on you for decorating different surfaces or lineways that you have, or any sort of sharp edges on your terrain. Because there's things like caves and cliffs that you can place down. That gives you a nice decorated feature that's not going to take too long, as if you were to do it yourself. The sticker tab is just, they're like textures, but just smaller. There's things like different types of road arrows that you can place down, just to decorate roadways, or a puddle of mud you can place down. It's not really going through this texture too well, but you can see it just decorates your map and makes it look all more lived in. Some clothes on the ground. Look at that. Left all those right there. The last type I'm going to talk about today is the tag. And you can use this for tagging each building you want with a different health pool. So starting from small, that'd be like little sheds or maybe like a tiny house, to mid, like a neighborhood house, big being like a warehouse, and HLM being the big skyscrapers you'd see around the map. This is necessary for your troops to garrison into them and have a certain health pool for each house. So once it was destroyed, you wouldn't be able to garrison troops there anymore. Now that I've gone over most of the main types on this unit creation page, don't worry too much about the ones I didn't list, like the snap one or the state DB modifier. Those don't really do much. Or the selection. There's nothing in the selection one either. No one really knows what any of these do at the moment, but if you know what they do, just give me a little comment down there, and that'd be much appreciated actually, because I don't really know what they do. I'd like to know. I'm guessing the snap one is for roadways, because they do have the same kind of models right there, the principal roadways. Secondary roadways, the same arrows, so I guess it has something to do with the roads. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I don't think there's anything else we need to cover, and that's pretty much everything. After you do this, all you have to do is bake the map, and then I'll teach you how to export your map to the Steam Workshop so you can play it yourself and create your own scenarios. If I didn't cover something that you have a question on, just give me a comment down below and I'll get back to you really soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.